Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today, I am gonna share some September pickups with you. It's October 2nd today. September was a really quiet month for me, partially because I wasn't around. So I would tell you I was probably home 7 days in the month of September. You know, it started out with Labor Day. My family and I were up in South Haven, Michigan, enjoying the long weekend. Then I got back, spent a couple days at home, and I took off for 5 days in Vegas with my buddies where we had our annual 45th annual fantasy football draft. And then I got home, and 2 days later, my wife and I took off for 17 days in Italy. We had a great time. We were up in Cinque Terre, then we went into Sicily, went all around the island of Sicily, and then ended in the Amalfi Coast and had a wonderful time. I got back Friday afternoon, but I'll be honest with you, it's taken me this long to kind of get out of the fog. Jet lag did kind of beat me up. So I wasn't really around much in September. But I did end up picking up, I think, 4 cards that I want to share with you guys. Also, we found out that Pete Rose passed away yesterday, which I'd like to just spend a couple minutes talking about Pete, and then I'll show you the cards. So how about we flip the camera and we take a look at the cards. Thanks. Okay, so yesterday we got the news that this guy, Pete Rose, he passed away. I believe he was 83 years of age. He was a flawed person, we know, but as a ball player, he was just a great ball player. For me, the 60s and 70s were the best time for baseball. It's only because that's when I was growing up, and those are the players I saw play. And Pete Rose was definitely front and center amongst those the great ball players in the 60s and the 70s. In my opinion, he was the engine that got the Big Red Machine going. He was just such a fantastic ball player, and he did it a lot with his, he had to be a great player or great athlete to play in the majors, but he was somebody that did it with hard work and hustle and focus. And, growing up, your coaches and your father would always tell you, this is the guy you wanted to emulate, right? Because you would get the most out of who you were. And that's a lesson that, transcends baseball, right? It's one in life. If you focus and you work hard, it's a recipe for success. So, and Pete Rose was, from a sports perspective, was probably the best example of that. I wasn't a big Pete Rose fan. I'm a Dodger fan, and he was on the Reds, so he was an enemy of ours. But, I respected him a lot, and he had great cards, some fantastic cards. I'm taking some time to share some of those with you. But the thing, for me is it's just the way he played the game. I believe it's a shame. I think he should have been in the Hall of Fame a long time ago. There are a lot of flawed people in the Hall of Fame. And to not have the all-time hit king in the Hall of Fame, it's a travesty in my mind. But Pete was a fun ball player, and I love collecting his cards. Here are a few of my favorites that I don't have graded, just 2 or 3. This one is the 72 Pete Rose in action, and I just love that card because it just sort of epitomizes Pete Rose, the kind of player he was. And back then he had those sideburns going. Just a cool picture. And the other 2 cards I love are this 1985, I believe, is the year, the Fleer cards. And what I like about it is, a lot of people forget that Pete Rose got his 4,000th hit in a Montreal Expo uniform, which, I love the old Expo uniforms, and he didn't play there long, so that was kind of cool. And then he was traded back to the Reds, where he was player manager, and he finished that year on the Reds team. So these are 2 of my favorites. So rest in peace, Pete. And hopefully at this point, eventually the Major League Baseball will get you into the Hall of Fame. As far as my pickups for September, like I said, it was spent a lot of money traveling. It was a busy month, and I wasn't around, but I will tell you, if you remember last month, I shared this Veda Pinson Topps Giants card. And you know, I've really grown to love the set. Veda is my second graded version of that. I also originally have this Clemente from the same set. And I just think the photography in these cards are fantastic. And, you know, I'm kind of kicking myself. At one point, a complete set that looked to be in great shape was on eBay, and I was bidding for it. And it got to a number that I should have pulled the trigger on, but I backed off and I let it go. And I'm still kind of kicking myself for it. But I did pick up a few of the new ones to add to the collection. The first one I picked up was this wonderful Bob Gibson card, right? Look at Bob. It's a great picture of Bob Gibson. I also picked up the Dominican Dandy, this Juan Marichal. Look at that card. That card's beautifully centered. It's a great portrait of Mr. Marichal. I was bidding on 4 of these. I won 3 of them. The one I lost was a Yastrzemski, which I'm a little bummed about. But the last one I picked up is this beautiful Al Kaline, and this one's also really well centered. I just think it's a great picture of Kaline. Kaline's another guy like Rose who has fantastic cards, in my opinion. So, and he's an underrated ball player. You know, this guy was a really good ball player. So I picked those up. And then the only other card I picked up, you know, I love the 1969 set. And I saw this on eBay and I bid heavy on it. This is the 1969 Gaylord Perry white letter, right? So as you know, the white letter, a little more scarce, the Mantles, the McCoveys, the Perrys. And this card is so well centered and so sharp on the corners. Back looks pretty solid. So I saw this card and, you know, I actually own a version of this card, but on some of them, they have the blue marking right there. I wanted the one without the blue marking. I saw this, I bid heavy on it, and I won it. So I'm totally excited. This one's going to get graded with SGC at some point, but was really happy to pick it up. So there you have it. That was it for me for September. Once again, I'm not going to complain because I spent most of the month in Italy. So the great thing about being in Italy, you know, I did have time. I tried to at least watch a lot of your videos during some downtime. We had some time on trains and stuff. So it was enjoyable to still stay caught up with the hobby, even though I wasn't posting anything. But as always, I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this video. Hope everybody's doing well. Stay safe. Keep collecting. We'll talk soon.